I'm Johnny Millennium, this is Victor Lucas, and this is Film Fury. And today we saw the brand new reboot, remaster we'll call it, of Hellboy.
Is it just called Hellboy?
It's just called Hellboy.
Okay, they started from Hellboy again.
Yeah, and the original movie came out in 2004.
Yep.
And let's talk about that for a second. Did you like that movie?
I love those movies.
Absolutely.
Guillermo del Toro is a genius, and I thought Ron Perlman was fantastic as Hellboy. And I thought that this movie was going to be terrible, and I didn't like the trailers at all, and so I was expecting an abomination, and I'm quite happy to report that I really, really, really like this movie.
Oh my God,
yes.
we are going to
I could tell from your body language that you were not enjoying yourself.
No, but because, okay, here, we have to start off this.
Yes.
Ron Perlman was fine as Hellboy.
Yes, he was.
He was fine. I don't understand why they had to reboot this, why they had to replace him. David Harbour is good.
He's great.
I like him as an actor in general,
yes.
so I have no problem with him.
Yes.
But why did we need to reboot this? Why did we need to? Ron Perlman's still there.
Because they didn't want to connect it to the Guillermo del Toro fiction. They wanted to create a new trilogy or, the opportunity for a new franchise. Harbour's a little bit younger than Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman is not an old man by any stretch. He is older, though, and he did have 2 good kicks at it, and I think they worked for more than a decade to make a sequel. But here's the truth of it. Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman don't own Hellboy, just like, Ben Affleck doesn't own Batman and Christian Bale doesn't own Batman. Yes. This is a really cool character. Mike Mignola created an amazing franchise, an amazing universe, and truthfully, because he's been converted into 3 movies now, Mike Mignola doesn't really own Hellboy anymore. There's a much bigger universe out there.
I understand that. My problem is not with David Harbour, so I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
This movie was so all over the place. They put so much into it.
It's very cluttered, yes.
Yeah, there's some bits that are kind of cool,
and
there's some bits that are really terrible. Some CG that is really good, and some CG that is really terrible.
I think what they've done, though, yes, there's a ton of CG, and you are fully aware of the effects, but there's also a tremendous amount of puppet work and incredible makeup work.
Sure.
And I think it's blended in a very, very artistic way. And one thing that is absolutely different from this film, from the Guillermo del Toro movies, is that the action is fast and furious, no pun intended. It's just non-stop all the way through.
And that's a little bit my problem. There's just way too much stuff going on. There's there's just stuff shoved in your face all of the time.
We're in a post-Avengers, post-Zack Snyder superhero movie world now,
It's a fun movie in a lot of ways, but there's just too much stuff going on that I just didn't really buy any of it. And let me just say, right from the beginning of the movie, and we're not going to say what happens, there's an evil shown, and I'm like, okay, this is evil that they're going to bring back at the end, and Hellboy will stop it. Well, and it's like, so I know what the story is right there, and then they just stuff right in your face, like so much
It
going
is an exhausting movie.
It's exhausting,
and I agree, and I could feel like the other critics, and we saw a critic screening, so it wasn't filled with an audience. We have no way to kind of register how an audience would take this movie, but I could tell the other critics were all feeling like, okay, what's happening?
What is going on?
It's insanity. Yes, I've read some of the Hellboy books.
Oh, that's cool. I never have.
I read them, and they are packed with imagery, and there's lots of stuff in the corners, and it's a horror show just as much as it's a comedy and a superhero and a cult. And this movie really does convey that, and I know that it's going to be overwhelming for a lot of people. And I don't purport to be a Hellboy fanatic, but I've read some of the graphic novels, and I've interviewed Mike Mignola, and I love the previous Hellboy movies. I think even Guillermo del Toro is going to be a fan of this rendering.
Yeah, no, he's not going to be offended by it. You know what I mean? It's not going to take away from his movies.
And it honors the source quite well, even if it deviates from the incredible work that was done before. But I'll tell you what, this would not work if David Harbour wasn't at the center of it, because he is so funny. Like, everything he said made me laugh. It's like every time he said
something. I wasn't laughing.
I know you weren't.
I wasn't. I honestly, you're laughing, and I'm like, man, I'm missing this movie. And I kind of felt like this movie was just flying past me, and I wasn't on it for the ride, and they just kind of left me by the side, and I was like, I want to go and I want to enjoy this. Like, there's absolutely ridiculous things, but there is stupid stuff. You gotta say, when he's fighting those trolls, that was the stupidest fight.
What, the Giants?
The Giants.
I love that scene. I thought it was amazing.
So
it kind of reminded me of stuff like Time Bandits, because it looked like this mix of, or the Dark Crystal looked like this mix of puppetry and CG, and I just thought they fully committed to it, and it was insanity, and I loved that so much of the action takes place in England.
The fight sequence is so stupid, though. He's just getting a sword, swinging it around, and they're just walking into it. That's my problem.
I thought that was amazing.
No,
how
I didn't think that was
how
that
many
good.
fights have we seen on screen with giants and a little demon carrying a giant sword? there's a lot of imagery
there's a lot of
in here.
Lord of the Rings and
I
types of
thought
stuff
that
in
was
here.
cool.
There's a lot of movies in here.
The only thing that I would have changed about this, and it's not because she did a bad job, is Milla Jovovich plays the big bad in
Whenever
this.
she shows up in any movie, it takes it down a notch
Well,
these days. After the Resident Evil movies, that's what we think.
She's done so many of these kind of genre pictures, these kind of B-movie, action movie type things. It's such low-hanging fruit to say, well, let's put Milla Jovovich in there because fans of this action, gore, horror stuff are going to know her. I think that's just a little too safe. Well, it's a missed opportunity because they could have given this to somebody because it's a good performance and it's a very cool role. She's a demonic creature that has a tremendous amount of power, and she relishes it and she hams it up on screen. She does a good job. I'm not saying that, but they had an opportunity to cast somebody amazing that could run away with it and be the equal to David Harbour.
And that's the problem. Yeah,
which they didn't really.
She's a weak villain.
Weak choice.
Yeah.
Weak choice. I think she's an excellent villain, but a weak choice in the casting because it's too predictable.
I think the idea of the villain and how she's taken down and spread around the world, we won't say anything more. Yeah. That's cool. I like the history here.
Yes.
I like the world
building. The mythology, it's great.
The mythology is great.
Yes.
But it's just too much silly crap going on that I want to buy it, but I can't.
No, I hear you, brother. It's like you got to fully commit to the movie, just like the filmmakers committed to all these little tangential things. Like let's go off on this adventure. It's almost like Aquaman in a way.
And you know what? I was thinking
stuffed.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Aquaman, for some reason, worked with absolutely over the top. So many things going on.
You know why?
I pulled it off because it was so silly, but it works.
You know why, though?
Why?
James Wan was crafting a universe that we hadn't seen on cinema before.
Right.
But you had seen Hellboy before, and you probably liked those first two movies.
I didn't. I'd forgotten all about them when I watched this.
But you had some familiarity, and so you're going in, and I think that's the biggest challenge that the filmmakers. And it wasn't that long ago, so I think there's going to be a lot of diehard fans for the previous Hellboy movies that are going to have a very tough time separating themselves from what they already understand before they go into this movie.
The character and all that. So,
but I can tell you, like I was able to, and I freaking love David Harbour.
I'm jealous, and I think that for a lot of Hellboy fans, they're going to find a lot to enjoy in this movie.
Lots of little secrets.
I'm not saying that, but this movie overall is silly. Like, I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
When there's a father, kind of
Ian McShane,
an apparition going on, we'll say. That was so bad. I was sitting there going, I can't believe I'm watching this. It's so dumb.
What, the little baby?
No, there's an apparition at one point. Do you remember?
Oh, okay.
Near the ending.
Okay.
And there's a certain kind of speech. I was like, oh my god.
I like that they like Daniel Dae Kim from Lost is in this thing.
He's fine.
He's okay, and I like the other Alice.
Yeah.
There's some cheeseball effects, but
there is.
You know what?
There's a lot of cheeseball effects.
But the movie is packed with
visual,
enjoyable visual elements and lots of it's not scary, but it's gruesome.
There's a lot of blood and guts. Thanks for mentioning that.
And it's got it's definitely an R-rated picture, but it's loaded with visual stimulation, which I think can be tiresome. But I dug it. I still liked the artistic endeavor that they put into this.
I just felt that they shoved so much in just to see what stuck and what didn't.
Right.
And that's the problem. Yeah. I think some bits are really good, and then the next two bits are bad. And one bit that's kind of neat, and I just wish they took their time a little bit more, held back.
It breaks my heart you didn't dig this. I really liked it. And
I never want to see this again.
I know you could tell I liked it, and I could tell that you didn't like it.
I'm scoring like, this is me. I'm like, there's Vic laughing, and I was like, why? I'm not laughing. Why am I not laughing?
I think you can hang it clearly on two things. I wasn't expecting to. I thought it was going to be trash.
So did I.
And I legit love David Harbour. I think that guy is phenomenal.
From Stranger Things, he's amazing.
Well,
so
he's just so funny. He's got such great deadpan delivery throughout all of this. It's so absurd. All of it is just so insane.
It's so absurd. It's very hard to take.
And then in the center is this perfect guy, this kind of Han Solo-esque kind of delivery on all of this.
Yeah.
I really freaking love this movie. I thought it was great. And because it's so stuffed, I think it's just like Aquaman going to be one of those pictures that you see again and again, and you get little details out of. You probably won't.
I will not watch Aquaman again, and I will not watch Hellboy again.
What are you going to give Hellboy?
This is a tough one because there's a lot of stuff that does work, but overall the picture, it doesn't really work that well for me.
Yeah.
But I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'll give it like a 6.5.
I really like this. 8.5 for me,
What?
and I'm as shocked as you are.